ahead and call this meeting to order via roll call.
Trustee Gibson King.
Absent.
Oh, she absent? Trustee Gomez.
Present.
Trustee Smith. Present. Trustee Rodriguez.
Present.
Chairman Archiega.
Present. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. First thing on tonight's agenda, we have our administrative reports. I'm going to go ahead and begin with Dr. Bornay's report for this evening.
Good evening, School Board of Trustees and community members. My brief superintendent's report. I thoroughly enjoyed meeting several community stakeholders as well as families and staff members this past weekend during the Concerned Citizens of Calumet events, Friday night as well as Saturday at Riley Park. That carried over into also engaging with the community on Sunday at the Wow Fest, where I got an opportunity also to meet some of our other vendors and community partners. We're getting ready to welcome back almost 600 staff members for the opening day, August 5th, with our opening convocation, which will be held at Central High School. All of our board members are invited to attend, and we're getting ready to welcome back over 3,000 students on the first day of school, August 8th. We have recently received all of our iLearn data as well as iRead scores back from the state. We look forward to sharing that data and how well our students have performed and how that will inform our strategic plan at our next board meeting in August. And I'm looking forward to meeting other families and other community members this Saturday at our Back to School rally, which will be held at Central High School from 12 to 4, as well as if they have not had an opportunity to meet their superintendent yet, I will also be at National Night Out on Tuesday, August 6th from 4 to 7. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have approval of the agenda. As we approve tonight's agenda, I just have one item I would like to add on here. And it was, Dr. Bornay, can you go into a little bit more detail on?
Absolutely. So we would like to add one item on a new business, which is the water treatment services contract for Kim Reddy. That is a matter of urgency as we are near the final phase of our HVAC project. And this is the services that are required for us to make sure they are operational. We would like to have the same vendor for all of those services and not have to have multiple vendors dealing with that service.
Thank you. So I will make a motion to approve this evening's agenda with adding this water treatment service as 6.12.
Second.
All right, motion made by myself, second made by Trustee Gomez. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, we will go ahead with a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next thing on the agenda is our consent agenda. Is there any comments from the audience on our consent agenda today? I'm looking for a motion to approve this evening's consent agenda.
Mr. President, make a motion.
Motion made by Trustee Rodriguez.
Second.
Second made by Trustee Gomez. Is there any discussion at this time? Seeing and hearing none, we will go ahead with a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have old business. Our old business consists of all our second reading of policies. First, we have 5.01, our wellness policy. Is there any comments from the audience on 5.01? All right, seeing and hearing none, I'll make a motion to approve 5.01.
Second.
Second by Trustee Gomez. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing and hearing none, we will go ahead with a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have 5.02, approval of the policy for purchasing for second reading. Is there any comments from the audience on 5.02? All right, seeing none, I will go ahead with a motion for approval of 5.02.
Second.
Second made by Trustee Gomez. Is there any discussion? All right. I will go ahead and call for a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have policy, or 5.03, the approval of policy for our accounting system for capital assets for its second reading. Is there any comments from the audience on the approval of 5.03? I'll go ahead and motion for the approval of 5.03. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second made by Trustee Smith. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, we will go ahead with a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have 5.04, the approval of policy for student fees and charges for second reading. Is there any comments from the audience on the approval of 5.04? Seeing and hearing none, I will go ahead and motion for approval of 5.04. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second made by Trustee Rodriguez. Is there any discussion? We will go ahead with a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have 5.05, approval of policy for procurement for the federal grants and funds. Is there any comments from the audience on 5.05? Seeing and hearing none, I will go ahead and motion for the approval of 5.05. Is there a second?
Second.
Second made by Trustee Rodriguez. Is there any discussion? All right, we will go ahead with a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we will go into new business. I would like to make a motion to approve all of the handbooks in one swift action. So I'm going to motion to approve 6.01 through 6.04.
I'll second that motion.
All right, motion made by myself, second made by Trustee Rodriguez. Oh, my apologies. Is there any comments from the audience on 6.01 to 6.04? Yes.
For the employee handbook, were there any changes made other
No.
Is there, at this point, is there any discussion from the board?
Mr. President,
Yes.
I know there was an issue that we had regarding, sorry, can't find it right now. Maybe Superintendent might know the,
Is this a cell phone policy?
no, it was regarding the, in the event somebody has a encounter with law enforcement, the reporting procedure for that.
So the only updates we made to the student handbook or the employee handbook?
The employee handbook.
We didn't make any updates regarding the encounter with law enforcement. So if it was already existing in the last version of the 22-23 school year, then it's there.
Attorney Harris, are you familiar with that?
No, I'm not familiar with exactly what section you're talking about. Which handbook do you believe in the employee handbook? Okay. I'm taking a look real quick. Just bear with me. Only thing I can think of, 36. Let me see.
So we can do a search of that policy or that missing item, and then it might appear as an addendum in the next board meeting, if there's clarity needed.
So, Mr. President,
Yes.
page 36 at the top of the page, that might be what Trustee Gomez is referring to. But it's 36, top of the page. Any conduct that is reasonably suspected to be a crime or incident that did or may compromise the safety and security of the work environment shall be reported immediately to the employee supervisor or the safety and security supervisor.
Okay, yeah, that was it, thank you. So my question is that, once it happens, I don't think it spells out what is supposed to happen beyond that point. Do you think that's language we need to add to this?
Yeah, I think that's something we probably should study a little further because it's so fact-specific. It kind of all depends on what happens next. If the police pick it up, then we're done and it's something for them to handle. If a report's filed, but they don't go any further in terms of an investigation or refer it to the prosecutor's office, then it's strictly an HR matter. It's a personnel matter for us to investigate internally and do something about it. So it kind of depends, but yeah, I think it's worth studying further to provide some detail, because right now it just says there's a duty to report, and then it's kind of silent. So I'll kind of look into that a little further and maybe work with the superintendent to see if we can come up with some thoughts on that.
I have a follow-up question, Attorney Harris. With going ahead, should we make an addendum into the handbook, or should the policy committee look into creating a specific policy on this issue and then add it to the student or to the employee handbook?
I'm not sure yet. I think, again, this is kind of fact-specific. If we could brainstorm and come up with certain types of scenarios, then we can determine if it's best to just come up with a procedure for certain things and protocols, or maybe it will be a policy to deal with what happens next. I'm just not sure yet until we look at what all the potential scenarios are that could be reported. But I think I understand what the concerns are, and the wheels are turning now.
Okay, thank you. All right, is there any other discussion on the motion? All right, we will go ahead with a voice vote then. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have 6.05, the approval of Title I interventionist at St. Stan's. Is there any comments from the audience on 6.05? Seeing and hearing none, I'm looking for a motion to approve 6.05.
I move for approval, Mr. President.
Motion made by Trustee Gomez.
Second.
Second made by Trustee Rodriguez. Is there any discussion? We will go ahead with a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have the approval of renewal for Jeleni Educational Services contract. Is there any comments from the audience on this contract? All right. Seeing and hearing none, this one is for special ed?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. If she- Ms. Pohl, if you can just, thank you. Yeah, if you can just give us a little bit of an overview.
Yes. Both of the contracts that are on here are renewals. The first one for Jelani is a contracted school psychologist to help us and assist with the abundance of referrals and assessments that we're doing. So he's with us. I think this is his second year.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to approve 6.06?
Make a motion.
A motion made by Trustee Rodriguez,
Second.
a second made by Trustee Gomez. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, we will go ahead with a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have 6.07, the approval of the renewal of parallel learning contract. Does anybody have any comments on the approval of 6.07? All right. Ms. Pohl, can you give us a little bit of a background on this one, too?
Okay, yes. So Parallel is a renewal, as I said, and they are a virtual speech that are assisting us with providing services to students. This is their second year in the district as well, so.
All right. Thank you. I'll go ahead and make a motion for 6.07. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second made by trustee Gomez. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, we will go ahead with a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have 6.08, the approval of Alex and Revel Professional Development. Does anybody have any questions on or does anybody from the audience have any comments on 6.08? All right, seeing and hearing none, I'm going to ask Ms. Yonders if she can just give us a little bit of an overview on this professional development.
Good evening. This professional development will be delivered by McGraw-Hill, who is our core math vendor, and they're going to be providing more training to our teachers, our new EPs, and our other teachers on the use of the Alex and Reveal platform, where they can do automatic and adaptive learning paths.
All right. Thank you. Is there a motion to approve 6.08?
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by trustee Rodriguez,
Second.
second made by trustee Smith. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing and hearing none, we will go ahead with a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have 6.09, the approval of max results, literally across all content areas. Ms. Yonders, is this one yours too?
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
This particular consultant is going to come in and provide professional development to all of our elective teachers as well as our social studies and science teachers. The idea is that we're all literacy teachers, and at the secondary level especially, we feel that we should just teach our content and not put any literacy skills into those lesson plans. So making sure that we're intentional about the use of literacy skills when we plan in our lessons.
Mm-hmm. Is there any comments from the audience on 6.09? All right, hearing and seeing none, I will go ahead and motion for the approval of 6.09. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second made by trustee Gomez. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Yes.
Ms. Yanders, could you tell us a little bit more about this in terms of the length of the contract and the expected outcomes?
This is just the one-day contract for the one-day training, and they're going to be doing, once again, all of the elective teachers, the elementary call them special. So you know your art, gym, robotics, all of those elective teams. A lot of times, like even your gym teacher, think that the only thing that I'm supposed to, no, I don't say that they think, but sometimes they might assume that I just teach them health and throw out a ball, but they can also include some lessons where students are enriching their literacy skills, and that's what they're going to be doing. So it's a one-day training event. Hopefully, we'll see how it goes, and the monitoring piece and that monitoring ball will be picked up by the building administrators.
Yeah, I think that was the question I had, is the follow-up on this. So that'll occur through the principals?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any other discussion at this time?
Yes, I'd just like to say thank you, Ms. Yanders, for this program. Thank you. Two programs that you suggested. Thank you.
Thank you for approving it.
They are so well needed.
All right, we will go ahead with a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have 6.10, the approval of the SLE workshop for convocation. Is there any comments from the audience on 6.10? Seeing and hearing none. You want to give us, it's pretty clear cut.
It is. As you all know, many of us went to several conferences this summer, and one of them was the Innovation Summits Conference, and we ran into this young man. He gave a great delivery on making connections, and so because we are going to emphasize making connections with each other and with our students, he's going to be providing a little information about making those connections and backing up what our superintendent has for us. I want to say it right. Moving with intention and
Executing with
executing with the
purpose.
purpose. So he's going to be backing up what our superintendent is emphasizing for this school year.
All right, thank you. I'll go ahead and make the motion for the approval of the SLE workshop. Do I have a second? Second made by trustee Gomez. Is there any discussion? All right, seeing and hearing none, I will go ahead with the voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have 6.11, the approval of the use of our administrative parking lot by the UBM. Is there any comments from the audience on 6.11? All right, seeing and hearing none, I'm looking for a motion to approve 6.11.
I'll make a motion.
Motion made by trustee Rodriguez. Second made by trustee Smith. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, we will go ahead with the voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have 6.12, which is the water treatment services contract. Dr. Bournet, can you just give us a little bit of a more clearer purpose for this?
I'm going to ask Mr. McGrath if he can come forward. Step out. There you go.
I don't see him.
Oh, he's in the hallway. You're up. Mr. Graff is our consultant working with us on project management for our HVAC projects.
Hello. How's everyone?
Good.
Good.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I missed the question. I apologize, guys.
No, we were asking if you just give us a little bit of an overview of why we need to act on this. The water treatment services contract with Zinken.
Okay, so the water treatment service in general has to take place for a number of reasons. You had water treatment in your district, any school district has, for a number of reasons. To help filtrate the water that goes through your units. Now you have all new units, your boilers, your chillers, your air handlers. All of this needs to be treated properly. Your former water treatment company, upon my arrival in December, I was told hadn't been here in 2 years, but had been billing the district. So I reached out to the man and I had a meeting with him. It was actually at another location. And I just explained to him, and he was honest. He said, yeah, we thought you guys were closed for COVID and then we never came back. I said, okay. He was relieved of his duties. We subsequently were trying to find a new company. During the construction that we were going through, there's a new cooling tower that's been installed at Harrison. And a new one's going to be put in at Central in the next few months from a different fund. Both of those towers need to be treated properly, or we will be in the same boat that we are now, trying to fix out-of-date, beat-up equipment because of neglect. This particular company was originally hired on by Pangier, which is one of our contractors. They brought that man in to fill the void to get the cooling tower at Harrison up and running. Upon meeting this man a few weeks ago, I explained to him that I can't have 2 water treatment companies inside the district. It's conflicting and it's difficult to bring everything into the BAS. with their equipment. Everything has to be, compatible. So at that point, he then started his assessment of the rest of the schools. So we have 4 schools with cooling towers, and the rest are all closed-loop systems, which what that means is the water just filtrates through the system itself, but they all need to be treated. And then what that does, it's the same as oil in a car. Oops, sorry. The same as oil in a car. It keeps all your gears and everything lubed and everything running properly. So at this particular juncture, we're just short on time because I have to get the Harrison Tower up and running by, next week.
So we're going to just go with this one for the,
Yes, sir.
yeah, okay. All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Did I ask for comments? Is there any comments from the audience? Yes, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, ma'am, how exactly do you mean East Chicago Central High School? Right now, yes. You actually are getting 3 new major units in the next, call it 6 months. You're getting a new cooling tower there, a new domestic hot water tank, and a new air handler.
What's happening now?
Well, no, they work. No, they work. You're just getting replacements to upgrade all of it. And then you'll have, all your systems are now working at Central.
All right.
Anyone else? I'm sorry.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and motion for the approval of 6.12. Do I have a second? A second made by Trustee Smith. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Yes.
with regards to this particular contract, has this been seen by the attorney? Sheriff?
Yes, it has.
Okay.
The superintendent shared it with me earlier in the week.
So are we adding this company as a vendor, or are we approving the actual contract?
I think we're approving the actual contract based upon the circumstances that have been described.
So then the other company is no, what do we do with that contract? Or is that, are we giving them an exit?
So according to previous information, that company was not doing what they were supposed to be doing, so we're no longer working with them.
Is there any other discussion? All right, seeing and hearing none, we will go ahead with a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have public forum. So you got the list?
I do.
All right, if you could, please step to the podium and state your name. You'll have 3 minutes for your comments. Please be respectful to the audience, the board members, and the staff, and please refrain from discussing any individual personnel matters. Thank you.
First individual is Princella Askew.
Good evening. Princella Askew, 2705 East Guadalupe Circle. I'm here supporting and letting everybody know what's going on at our public library. And I have flyers for you, quite a few. I want you to look at them and utilize them. There's more that's out there in the vestibule. Here you be.
Next speaker is Kenny Monroe. Oh, I'm sorry.
You know that the little tab I gave you, all you got to do is follow the directions. really want you to look at? August the 11th. And it will be at the main library in the parking lot. Spread the word, we're gonna have some great time. Actually, now I'm sure.
Barbaronis?
Hello, good evening. My name is Barbara Baronis. My address is 3936 Worth Road, Highland, Indiana. I am Vice President of the AFT Teachers Union 511. Teachers are excited to start the new school year and meet our new students and receive the students. But we're also concerned about having enough time to get our classrooms prepared. We know a lot of the buildings have HVAC still, they're still not complete, and so a lot of us are kind of feeling anxious if we're gonna have enough time, if the buildings are gonna be, I know the custodians are working nonstop and we have great custodial staff, but we're concerned about having enough time to be prepared to receive our students.
That was the last speaker, Mr. President.
Next, we have trustee remarks. Trustee Smith?
First, I'd like to say, this past weekend, a lot of festivities went on, and we all enjoyed all the festivities throughout our community. But I'd like to say this also, too. East Chicago's public library is the busiest library I've ever seen in my life. They always have something going on. There's never a month that's not activity or a festivity going on for our children and our adults. So please, let's support the library on August 11th. August 11th. But we need you to be out on August the 3rd, Saturday, at our back-to-school rally. That concludes my remarks.
Trustee Rodriguez?
I just have a couple things to say. One is, this past weekend, I had an opportunity to go to the Calumet dinner with my peers and the superintendent. I think the event was really nice. I had a great time, and I just want to thank all the members that actually, as well as the president, Mr. Artis, who actually acknowledged us as well. Second, I was able to pull up the barcode. So those of you who have iPhones, just put your camera over it and just click on the link. And I tell you what, it's a lot of information. So I want to thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Trustee Gomez?
Same thanks to the Calumet committee. It was a great event, and also to Kelly Williams, Pastor Williams, to host the Wow Fest. And also, I want to give kudos also to Paul McGrath. I think you've done a great job with our buildings. I know you guys are working really hard. We're looking like we're on schedule. Yeah. Sure, if you don't mind.
Answer the teacher's question. What we're asking for is some patience and some understanding. You're going to have all your classrooms. You're going to have access to 95% of your schools and your buildings, but there's still going to be some dust and there's still going to be some work being done. We are at the mercy of the delivery schedule of these products that were ordered. And some of them were promised in July, promised again in August. They're not showing up till September. Now, that's not going to affect you personally. These are internal mechanical items, but there's still going to be people in the halls. So I know you're concerned about getting in the classrooms. Monday, we are really, really pushing to have everyone in their rooms, to have access to the rooms by Monday. And we apologize, but the window that we are given, for many, many years, I've worked in schools for 27 years now. Summer work started on Memorial Day and ended on Labor Day. But now the children are coming back to school sooner. So a lot of the projects that are bid out and, laid out and put into production have that time frame associated with it, which is usually about 12 weeks, 14 weeks. We were given 9.5.
And Paul, if you don't mind sharing the comment you made to me about the amount of work and the length of time that you're compressing that into?
Yes, like I said, the general rule of thumb for summer work is 12 to 14 weeks. And like I just said, we are compacted to just shy of 9 full weeks. So we're doing everything we can. It's no indication to the workers or the companies running the work. It's just, if a product doesn't show up, that starts a ripple effect. And then, the microphone. If I don't have the microphone, I have to keep talking louder. It has a purpose. So when I don't have it, it causes other things to have to work harder or wait. So that's kind of where we're at. We now have gotten all of the deliveries for the classrooms. They will all be ready for you to move into. I'm hoping Monday, at the very least by Wednesday. Yes, ma'am.
Actually, I would like to ask Dr. Bornet if he can just provide a more clearer understanding that all the classrooms are going to be, that all the teachers are going to have a classroom.
Thank you, President Artiega. So once again, we've worked very closely with our contractors as well as with our school leaders, our building principals. We met early this week. We'll be meeting again tomorrow to plan for the successful reopening of our buildings. Ideally, we would like for our teachers to be able to come in earlier to set up classrooms in order to accommodate them. Our principals have been in communication with them. They will be able to go in as early the weekend as it permits when our contractors and our own custodial staff are finished with buildings. We will not have to relocate any classrooms. There will be some spaces in those 3 HVAC sites that are off limits due to construction or waiting for parts to come in. And then we have also communicated to our leaders this morning that teachers will have the afternoon of that Monday, of August 5th, to work in their classrooms to set that up, whether they were at an HVAC site impacted or not. And they will also have a half day on Wednesday, either morning or afternoon, based on when they have professional development to also get their classrooms ready.
Yes, so 2 of the schools are pushing very hard to give you access by Sunday afternoon. So, again, they truly are trying to move a rock up a mountain right now.
All right, thank you. All right, the date and time of our next meeting is Tuesday, August 13th, 2024 at 6 o'clock. Location to be announced. I will go ahead and motion for adjournment. Second made by Trustee Rodriguez. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes.